Hi Zoe, greetings from us, Antarctica. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. How's it going where you are?
All right. Aren't you back in Australia now? You were in the UK last time we were speaking, were you?
Yep, so I've jumped about 30 degrees. It's beautiful weather outside, so I'm sure I'm making you very jealous.
That sounds lovely, doesn't it?
It does. We've got a bit of a dull day here at the moment.
So it's just Chris and I today. Chris and Chris today. Helen and Alan are working hard back at the camp. So we've processing some samples. So Chris and I thought we'd taken advantage of coming out onto the blue ice, actually at Patriot Hills. So we're about 5 kilometres away from where we spoke to you last time. And of course, when we were speaking then, it was blowing a calabatic wind. It was about 40 kilometres an hour. Now it's quite still today, isn't it? Remarkably still.
Yeah, windless.
Yeah, which is quite unusual, really. That stunning view behind me, behind Chris, of course, is Patriot Hills. So that's the Antarctic plateau is just behind that, and it's from off there that those cold, dry, dense air winds blow off the plateau and roar towards our campsite and out to the South Atlantic. But in the process, as Chris described last time, it ablates to surface and basically through that process draws up this ancient blue ice down on the edge of the next to the mountain. So it drops away quite steeply here, but that blue ice runway is remarkably solid. It's expedition is out here to support our research, our logistics, and was made famous quite a few years ago by, you're probably too young to remember Michael Palin's Pole to Pole, but when I was growing up that was quite a big TV show, and it was from Patriot Hills that he flew onto the South Pole. So here we are as where Michael Palin visited.
Oh, sounds gorgeous. So you got there by skidoos. How was the journey over?
Yeah, it's about 5 kilometres from the camp.
Yeah, not too far. It's a short hop by skidoo, so about 10-15 minutes. It's pretty smooth now because we've created a nice sort of smooth trip across with going backwards and forwards all the time. But yes, it doesn't take too long. But it's better to be camped back there because we get a lot less wind. The other day, there's winds up here of 55 knots, which is really, really strong, and our tents would have been torn to shreds. So we're much better off a little way away.
Yeah, no, sounds sensible. So how's the coring going? Have you managed to get lots of ice cores? How's that going?
Well, funny, Chris has got one already prepared.
So we've been taking ice cores this morning, but these ice cores are not just for climate work. We're actually trying to get some age sort of estimates out of the ice. So we've been coring down with these. This is a Kovacs ice corer. It's about 1.5 meters long. This is the cutting end. So you've got two very sharp teeth and a metal head with two of these ends, which are called core dogs or core catchers. And you've got this plastic barrel, so this is all plastic, very carefully precision made, with essentially a spiral running down it or a helix running down it to make it draw down into the ice. And then once you've drilled it down into the ice using a petrol head, you can remove this end, the top end of the corer. Thank you. And then you can turn it the correct way around, and this reveals your ice core. I don't know.
Oh,
so this comes out, and you can measure it. So whatever length you've gone down, and I don't know how good the camera is, but you can see there are cracks through the ice. So it's not perfect, but it also contains huge numbers of bubbles. And these bubbles are what we're after for actually looking at the sort of atmospheric changes through time. So I think Chris has sort of mentioned, the record here goes back around 60 to 80,000 years. So this is a piece of ice from about 8,000 years ago. And what we're looking for in it is tephras, dust from volcanic explosions, volcanic eruptions years and years and years ago, which we can actually analyze and use as time horizons within the ice to get a really good record of time and chronology out of the ice. So that's what we've been doing today.
Brilliant. So how far down have you been able to drill?
We're using the Kovacs kit we've got here. We've been going down to about 4 meters. Now, that doesn't sound like much. You know, most ice cores are sort of thousands of meters long. But what we're doing, because the ancient ice is upwelling and the surface is exposed, by going down 3 or 4 meters, we're capturing large volumes of ice all from around the same time. So it's a very different way of ice core. Those large samples to extract all the gases that are trapped in the bubbles, but also the isotopes that are trapped in the water. So the snow falls, the snow becomes ice, and it traps the gases, but also the snow itself gives you a record of temperature or the type or the direction that precipitation was coming into the area. So it gives you huge amounts of very useful climate information.
And the great thing is, Zoe, because we're just walking towards the mountains in the direction the winds are blowing, you're actually walking back through time. So instead of taking a very expensive corer and drilling down, as Chris mentioned, thousands of meters, you're just walking nonchalantly across the surface using gear that a lot of the time, apart from the core itself, but a lot of the other gear we've bought in a hardware store. So it's a remarkably cheap way of getting a lot of detailed information in a really very special part of the world.
Oh, brilliant. So are you, how many cores are you actually hoping to take back with you?
Well, we've got about 20 cores as such, but we've sampled across the surface, so not just the cores, but the surface samples we've taken for the ancient snowfall. We've got 1.2 kilometers now walking back through the surface, so we reckon somewhere between 100,000 years ago to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. So it's a fantastically detailed record. And the team have done really well, but the weather's been so changeable. Last time we were here a couple of years ago, we came in December. It was blowing a hoolie the whole time. It was just the beginning of the season, so we thought, okay, we'll come later in summer. January is the best time. Hopefully it'll be a bit calmer, and it's basically the same again. Arguably worse. So it's been a lot of ducking and diving with the conditions, and then unfortunately. A couple of us fell down the cold that we picked up from Punta Arenas in Chile. So that's fun, being sick in Antarctica. That's really good fun. So we're only just getting better now before we head back. But we've got, another couple of days tops, and then we should be heading back to the Union Glacier base and getting some proper sleep, hopefully.
Oh, well, you sound like you've done incredibly well with all the cores that you've managed to collect, and hopefully you're back in full fitness and full health by the time you come back.
We'll drag you out here next time, Zoe. Don't worry, you're not going to escape. You're going to have to come out here.
Sounds good.
Hey, look, thanks a lot, Zoe. Give our best to everyone back home in Australia, and I hope the coffee's good. I'm missing it terribly at the moment, but we'll see you next week, hopefully. But thanks very much for calling in, eh?
Yeah, no problem. I'm off sunbathing now, so I'll catch you later.
See you later.
Enjoy. Take
Bye.
Care. Bye-bye.
There you go. I think that's gone really well. We're still